So we shut down our business for about 4 months, right? So there was nothing happening in Nairobi.
Of course, yeah.
March to about April, March to about May, June, thereabouts, there was literally nothing going on. And so it was a lot of lockdown.
Yo, it's your boy Teza here on the Peoples with Idea podcast. It's a new idea I've been having for how long now? I think it's maybe like 5, no, not 5. To be honest, I'm not that old. It's probably been like 2 to 3 years. I've been thinking about this podcast. I have tons of friends that have dope ideas. They have things they've done, obviously. This guy is one of them, which I'll introduce in a little bit. And so I was thinking, why not, instead of having these conversations, we normally have them on the couch over there, in our living rooms or maybe at church. Why not just have them in public for everybody to see? Because I think that would be interesting.
Yep.
People can get some value from it,
Sure, yeah.
And so that's why I started this podcast. So this is the first episode. So this is my boy Gabe. So Gabe, you can tell us what your last name is because it missed out and before I forgot it. So that's very awkward. And then, for me, Gabe is an entrepreneur. That's all I've always known Gabe as. I've known Gabe for probably about around 2 years now.
Yeah.
We met at church, and that was a good time. And so for me, I've always thought Gabe was an interesting dude. So Gabe, from here, what your last name is since I forgot, and then maybe things you enjoy,
Sure.
more things about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. My name is Gabriel Kagume. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a recovering one though right now.
Which we'll find out about in a little bit.
Yes. I love fitness. I love reading books. I love nature. I love my balcony at home.
That one we know. We saw you at church when we were doing when you were doing an online church.
Yeah.
I say, hey, Gabe, man, that's pretty nice. He has some nice background and stuff like that. So that's cool.
I'm a sucker for cars and exhaust pipes and horsepower.
We'll find out why in a second as well.
Yeah, and I love God, man. He's been a major significant part of my life of recent times, and helps me make sense of everyday issues.
Of course, that makes sense. And then, what's your favorite car? Since we're what like today? Well, I'll tell you mine first if you're thinking, and then you can think of your favorite car. My car, the car I want, 100%. I want a Tesla. Not gonna lie. That's what I want. I used to always want like Porsches, Ferraris. No. I want a Tesla because Elon Musk just gets it. Like, for example, like I feel, from my understanding, Tesla is the only car that gains value as soon as you as you buy it. Because basically, most cars you buy it once you get it out of the lot. Sorry, Maisha.
True.
Whereas on a Tesla, what you can do is he brings new update like your phone. So it doesn't lose value. You gain value every time you're using it. So that's why Tesla is my favorite car. I don't know, maybe the sports version is maybe what I'll go. But in Kenya, we have too many speed bumps. So maybe maybe that's not the best idea.
It's practicality for me, man. So I think for me, it's a Ford Ranger Raptor.
Ooh, that's a sick car. Good call. That's a good call.
A double cab in Kenya. Right? To just
that's a good call, man.
Go anywhere.
Yeah, that's a
and you can
car.
carry stuff on the back. So it's a fantastic car.
Now maybe the Tesla Taraka may be the nice. That might be the move, dude. That's such a sick car.
It is.
You made the right call. Because actually, I like the Rangers too. I think they're a sick car, especially in the US, like lifted.
Yeah, lifted everything.
That's a sick car. So all right, so let's start. So for the framework of this podcast is gonna be more of like starting from when you were young. So growing up, how were things for you? Actually, I also want to know, did you like school? Did you not like school? Were you not interested in it? What was like your childhood like?
I hated primary school. I kind of hated high school. I went to Light Academy in Nairobi.
Don't know what that is, to be fair. I didn't grow up in Kenya, so...
In Karen, the only subject I loved was business studies.
Really? When did you take that class then?
In high school. So
okay, cool.
It was the only subject I also got an A in my KCSE. Everything else I got to do B. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, but my business studies teacher was just fantastic, and he made me fall in love with business.
Yeah.
So I pursued in business as well at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. I did an undergrad there with for Bachelor of Commerce in International Business.
So you went there. So did you go to Australia in like first year of undergrad? So it wasn't like some people who do like 1 year in Kenya or like uni at UN or whatever, and then you go there, or was it like you finished high school and then went straight through?
So I finished high school. My dad forced me to work for him.
Of course you did. We'll
So I
talk
worked
about
for
that in a little bit as well.
I worked for Dad for 2 years.
Yeah.
Selling cars. So I learned a lot about cars there.
Nice.
Because he still has the car at which I
Really?
started working in.
That's cool.
And then I went over, did a Bachelor of Commerce, and then a Master's of Management.
Okay, and did you take a gap? Because some people normally do like. So me, I didn't take a gap when I did my master. So I just did me. I was a psycho.
Yeah.
I hated school too.
Yeah.
I wasn't about it. So me, what I did is I did my undergrad, finished the next semester. So I think, let's say you graduated in May in the US, August, I went straight to my MBA. I was not having it.
Yeah.
Because and to be fair, I was getting the MBA from my parents. Right. So whenever you guys watch this, just know it was for you. Because I didn't care for the MBA that much, but I also wanted to work in finance.
Yeah.
Which by then I'm doing things totally different now. And so since I wanted to work in finance, if you want to make more money in finance or in those industries, you have to have an MBA.
Yeah.
Or else some people won't take you seriously. So for me, that's why I did the MBA. So you took a gap?
I didn't. Mine was very, very interesting. I graduated on a Monday. On a Tuesday, I was back to class.
That's crazy. Degree. But what do they do that in Australia then?
I got a scholarship. I was lucky to get a partial scholarship for my master's degree. I didn't want to waste it. I was scared I might lose it.
Yeah.
If I take a gap year, so I just went for it.
And then undergrad scholarship as well?
Partial, yeah, partial.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I did the year scholarship. To be honest, that's the reasons why we went to go use those places.
Yeah. I have to say though, like I really enjoyed my master's more than my undergrad.
What was it, a master's in, you said?
In management.
Okay.
I think the reason why I really enjoyed it was just the practicality of it. I love just so many people from different parts of the country.
Yes, of course.
Or rather of the world, studying the same thing and having those different perspectives from them.
Of course.
Was just brilliant.
Yeah, because I think my MBA was more interesting too, but to be honest, I'm not going to lie, my MBA was, it was shit. Let's be honest. That's what we're going to use it. It was a shit MBA. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because I felt like the people in my, this is going to sound cocky. Yeah. I didn't think the people in my class were that smart.
Okay.
Like I feel like in an MBA class, I should feel like being like we are all adding we're adding value to each other. I mean, right? So I like the MBA only because of the part of the MBA I like, compared to like undergrad is it was a lot of project based stuff, right? So it was like think of a product that you'd sell. So us we did some security bracelet thing where like let's say you're a chick and you're around the streets or whatever, you're walking. And then you feel like you're scared or whatever, and then you click a button, and then so that's interesting. So you can think of a product and stuff. And a lot of people, obviously, in like the big schools, like the Whartons of the world, Harvard Business School, that's how a lot of these products that we use on a daily basis. That's how they were created. Is in MBA classes. So I think because of that, I felt like I didn't get as much value as I wanted to get from my MBA. But to me, to be honest, it was just to write so my MBA on LinkedIn. Let's be honest, that's what I cared about. Like. It wasn't like the MBA was gonna be that useful. And let's be honest, what I'm doing right now, I'm doing marketing stuff, guys. It's not useful.
My highlight for my master's was very, very practical. We had a project, Doha Bank from Qatar.
Oh, nice.
So they came to our class. They flew all the way from Qatar.
Outrageous.
To our class and presented a problem.
You went to Australia school.
They wanted to enter Australian market, and we were given the problem. We were told solve this problem in 10 weeks. Then we'll come back and then you pitch it to us. The people who pitch, they'll get 6 month internship, paid internship.
No way.
With a possibility of employment. My team came second, but it was still good.
That's really crazy. Yeah. You see, like that's interesting to me. Like I'm thinking, me might find an issue. What did I do? I don't get what I did. Like, but my school I liked my school just because it was a small Christian school. I also knew that I was gonna be a psycho. Me as parents, like if I went to a big school, bad manners. Bad manners. It wouldn't have gone well. So for me, I think that that's where I was at. So you're in Australia.
Yeah.
You're doing your masters. Are you already working or? So when did you get your job? Your first like real serious job? Because obviously I don't know if you did fast food. Me, I did fast food. I did all those things. So when was your first like real job? Were you in an office?
Good. I got my first really good job in my first year of uni. So I worked in retail.
Oh, nice.
I sold jeans. I worked at Levi's. Learned a lot about customer service and customer experience, retail management. Then went over to Hisense, sold TVs after that. Then now I got a real job in an office in my third year of uni. I was doing digital marketing at a media agency. Fantastic experience. Then after that, I moved over to Pizza Hut Australia, but not serving pizzas, but working at the head office. There now as a brand manager. And I was doing that concurrently as I was doing my master's. So it was very easy to apply the things I'm learning at master's at my workplace. That's why I really enjoyed my master's. Did that for about 2 years.
Yeah. So Pizza Hut that you did 2 years, right?
Yes. As an assistant brand manager of all of Australia and New Zealand. Then my master's ended. And then I had a talk with my boss. I was like, look, man, I just really feel called to go back home.
Yeah.
Then Mackenzie, they put out an article, The Rising Lion of Africa. Right? The Rising
Wait,
Lion.
that was in Australia, Ama, you were reading it like a Kenyan, like, you know, like the way you can go on like Business Daily and it's the Kenyan African version.
It's a
that was it, the
global
Australian like branch that wrote that article about Africa.
It was the Mackenzie branch of Africa that wrote it, but it went viral everywhere. Right?
Okay.
It was like a 200-page report about the future of Africa.
Yeah.
Right? And the rising tech and
everything, of course.
Fashion, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, I love this article, man. Call my dad, I was like, look, I'm coming back to Kenya in 6 months' time. And I'm going to do fashion. I'm very passionate.
So I have a question. Fashion is because you're in Pizza Hut, bro. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, in my break, but now I know how it would make sense. Because me, I moved from finance to marketing. But for you, how do you think pizza and then, Kenya fashion?
Rising middle class of Nairobi. I read a lot about the rising.
You knew the numbers and stuff. Did you like do the?
I knew everything from that report.
Yeah.
Fashion naturally came in my line. And a lot of people used to compliment me about fashion. A lot of people used to ask me advice about how to wear, you know, all those things. So it kind of just flowed naturally with me. And I just got drawn into it. You know? There wasn't really a specific reason at had history. Well, I used to sell clothes in my undergrad. I learned a lot about it.
Of course.
But with men and menswear, I was also very passionate about men. So I wanted to bring a kind of convergence between menswear and the issues that men face.
Yes.
And so I came over to Kenya. I did a bit of survey and market research, and I noticed there was a gap.
In that context, what did you use for the survey? Like, did you use like Google Forms? Was it like, well, us in school used to use like Survey Monkey?
I used Survey Monkey.
Okay. Survey Monkey. Use the free version, I'm assuming. Like all of us. Yep. That's course. Exactly what we did. It's true. So the free version obviously doesn't allow you to do as much, like it can be as broad. But I agree that Survey Monkey is really good to do for doing surveys. So guys, if you don't know about Survey Monkey, I don't know if in school in Kenya they teach people that, or in Africa, but us, well, like when I went to school in the US, you went to Australia, Survey Monkey is huge. Like in business school, like when you're doing surveys around like, your business you're gonna start, or the project you're working on, Survey Monkey is really good. So you do a Survey Monkey.
I did Survey Monkey. I did Facebook polls as well.
Of course,
really got to understand what men really want.
And you came when Facebook was actually a big, like it was still. It wasn't like.
This was in 2017.
So
it's very recent. And so I was there. I started the thing. I imported a bunch of stuff from Turkey and Italy, based on what people had requested and based on what was on the survey results as obvious gaps in the market.
Okay, and then how did you? So like you're coming to Kenya, you now have done that survey. You decide you want to do fashion. You decide Turkey and Italy, right? So my question is. Me, I told you this. Me, I don't get this thing of important things. No, okay, I get the concept, obviously. But for me, I'm thinking mad cash. That's what I'm hearing. So for you, how did you get to the point where you're like, I'm willing to invest all this money? Though I think I have an idea, because I think we can a little bit segue to your dad.
Sure.
And how, as we've talked about before, he kind of gave you like a lot of business advice and stuff. Do you think that had to do with like you growing up with your dad? Actually, before we even go there, I think you should finish the part of how you started doing the importing stuff. Then we can talk about like the business side or what your dad imported in you. So I think just finish your like. So you went to got stuff from Turkey,
Yeah.
and Italy.
Yeah.
Then
I brought them here. I built a really nice shop in a mall. Huge mistake.
so that was the first place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in town at first.
No.
You can't be serious, really. I didn't know that. What
that-
mall?
It was at Roslyn Riviera Mall.
Oh, bro, that that's
Huge mistake.
Yeah.
There was a lot of excitement
What was the rent by then?
around that point. It was
Do you remember?
affordable
Okay,
at that
affordable.
point because I had money.
I see what you say.
Now looking back, I really shouldn't have done that.
Word. Yeah.
I really shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I should have invested more on other locations that are nearer to men. Anyway, so I did that. I did well the first 6 months. It was okay.
At Roslyn?
Yeah, at
Really?
Roslyn. Yeah.
Okay.
I was breaking even the first year.
Which is
But-
basically impossible.
Yeah.
You basically did an impossible thing because
Yeah.
most people can't get to even break even in 3, 4, 5 years.
I had also done really exhaustive market research about that area, right? And the people I was targeting.
How
I
are you
wasn't
marketing?
targeting-
How are you marketing to them?
I was doing a lot of luxurious magazines
Okay, cool.
that were already moving around that area.
Yeah.
And so I was targeting Runda guys, Rosaline,
Yes.
Mothaiga, Karen guys. And for those of your international audience, those markets are very affluential markets. right?
Of course.
And,
Very,
and
very
they have
wealthy.
money. And so they really never used to negotiate.
Oh, really?
But they also really appreciated the high quality
Of course.
stuff that I brought. So it was a good run.
So when you broke even, so if you broke even, why was Roslyn such a bad idea?
It stagnated. It
Okay.
stagnated at breaking even. At some point, now you need to make money,
Of course.
right? And you just can't stay there.
Of course.
And so I enrolled into an accelerator program called Growth Africa.
Was that helpful?
Very, very, very.
Me, I'm
helpful.
always skeptical of those things. My fear is this, right? I'll
Yeah.
join a thing like that, then they'll like my idea, then some guy who has millions of Kenya shillings will come, snap it, take the idea, and then go develop it himself.
Execution is key, though.
Well, that is true. Okay, so you have to believe in yourself. I agree with what
You
you're saying.
really,
Okay, cool,
really
cool,
have
cool.
to believe yourself.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot from that program.
Of course.
Which helped me to understand the better market target, which is a middle class Nairobi,
Yeah.
right? Faster moving goods there, lower margins, though you're targeting for volume. And so I made a move to go to town in
Yes.
CBD,
Yeah.
right opposite Mission Center. This was in 2019, November. Made the move, and dude, December we opened up, fantastic sales. January, fantastic sales. February, around January is when you're hearing COVID going on, right?
Yeah.
January 2020. Then February, fantastic sales as well, great sales. I was ready. I actually had a deal with my supplier, and he was just about to authorize the new stock that was going to come in. Then March 8 happened. Lockdown.
And we all know what happened then.
Bro, that was tough. That was tough. For me.
course.
Yeah. So, yeah. That was
So when you say it was tough, what happened? So now, like Gabe, as I've said, me and you, Gabe, as the business guy, he knows things. Like
Yeah.
he seems like he gets it. You come to church, like he's dressed really well because obviously he owns our fashion. He's in the fashion industry and stuff. So for you, like, what was business not working anymore? What happened during that time?
So we shut down our business for about 4 months. Right? So there was nothing happening in Nairobi.
Of course, yeah.
March to about April, March to about May, June, thereabouts, there was literally nothing going on. And so it was a lot of lockdown. At that time, I researched a lot about how to survive a pandemic as a business.
Of course, yeah.
And I was actually sharing my thoughts on Twitter.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Like, this is what businesses need to be doing, right? Shift online, shift to do what, do all these things. But one thing you forget was people were also affected. Your market, your target market, their incomes have also been slashed.
Of course.
So they have new priorities, which is
That's
just
true. Surviving, basically.
exactly just surviving. So at that point, I learned a very important lesson. Are you in an essential business or are you in a non-essential business? And I was in a non-essential business.
Yeah.
And I was told by the market that I am a non-essential business.
Because the market always decides. It doesn't matter how smart Gabe
Exactly.
is. Doesn't matter how smart Terrence is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. In the end, the market always decides.
So we
who's gonna win.
open.
It's true.
We open in June. March to June we're closed.
Of course.
We open back. The traffic in the CBD is literally like Sundays. Like there's nobody around.
People are still scared. All that stuff. Yeah.
Right. And our sales are really, really tanked.
Yeah.
They tanked to the digits of 50, 60%. Right. I've got arrears that have built up. The landlords that I had were not really understanding. Right. Like, man, it was.
Do you think they should have been understanding, or do you think that? Because I think I have a split view of that, right? Because I feel like in America, what they did is the complete I would say Democrats, at least in America, their point was because nobody has work, now you should be giving people free rent. Now I'm thinking, I literally put in all my money, put in all my investment, I built this whole building, right? Now you're telling me, I shouldn't eat meat, but the other people who are living there should eat. So then I think the balance is in somewhere where you can negotiate a lower price, because it shouldn't be like if you're, let's say you are TRM or Roslyn or even the same place you are, like let's say the rent before was half a mile, 300K, 200K, 100K, whatever the amount is for you, the location you are, and maybe we say, okay, there's not that much traffic. We obviously you still want to make money and you still want to have that shop by the time things open up. Maybe we should make the price like half of what it was before because there's no traffic. But first of all, he didn't care at all, I'm assuming, or she?
No, he didn't.
Didn't care at all, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's his building, man. It's his business. And you just have to respect that. You know what I mean? And so it was my duty to come and try and negotiate as much as I could.
Of course.
And did everything I was advising people on Twitter.
Of course
I
you were.
boosted my Instagrams. I got new videographers, new camera people to come over and
were you on Instagram, by the way?
Yeah.
So and this was you did social media from the beginning when you came to Kenya as well, right?
Yeah.
What I think that would be interesting as well. Why do you think that even though you were on social media, you still, because my assumption would have been that people would still want to buy stuff on social media anyways. So you would have still been able to get some form of decent traffic if maybe you did more ads or more Google, like more Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, or whatever.
Yeah, I did all that. I did Instagram ads, I did Google ads. I had a website as well that was powered by Shopify. I did all that, man.
That's a good point what you've just brought up. First of all, people in Kenya don't use Shopify enough. That's number one. I am one of the culprits because I've actually always wondered if Shopify works in Kenya.
It does.
And so you can actually create a Shopify shop.
It can.
That's crazy. Wait, Gabe, you can't be serious.
I did. $29 a month. I don't even know if they've changed it or not. But
that's crazy. Wait, because I've always thought of doing drop shipping, right?
Yeah.
Because drop shipping is a pretty basic business.
I've tried.
I don't own any of the inventory, right? I just find the one item, like for example, these chiles. They know chiles in Nairobi like specific like clothes from Majuo. I saw who wear this and stuff. You get a supplier in China that's gonna give you a decent price, right? And then you can drop ship here. It will take longer, obviously, but like the shipping time is like not great, but it's possible. I can't believe I didn't know Shopify worked in Kenya because I've actually wanted to start a Shopify shop at some point, but I never did.
It does, and there's a lot of brands. Of course, I can't mention them here. They actually use Shopify in Kenya, right? A lot of brands use Shopify.
I need to look into that game. You see, this is why you're here.
All right.
So that I can start. But also I always tell Gabe. Gabe is the one who, when I always tell Gabe things so that Gabe can keep me accountable and make sure that I do the things. Because the problem is, and we have realized this with my family. Well, actually, last week talking about just a segue. Last week we were talking about at this men's thing we're doing, that we do at Gabe's house. We're talking about like father wounds, right?
Yeah.
And so me, I told them, you're lying. Everything you're saying is a lie. My dad is great. He's perfect. I don't want what you're saying. It doesn't make sense with what Gabe is saying. I don't get it, right? Then they mentioned that the father ones don't always have to be like, oh, babako alikuchapa, or your dad was like not a nice dude, or he was never there. Because like I was telling them, my dad was always there. My dad used to come to track meets in a suit, and nobody else's dad was there. Nobody else's parents were there. My dad used to come. So I was like, no, my dad's the goat. But then I realized my father wound, in a sense, is the fact that in our family we can't execute. All we do is, my dad had ideas for a what's it called, virtual reality before they existed, artificial reality, all those things. Before we even thought of it as a possibility, my dad was like, just wait, in 5 years it will be there. We're still looking at each other. Of course, like, he could have executed. He was making enough money to be able to put money aside, to start a business and do that. So I think that's my father one, in a sense, is that I don't execute well. So that's why I realized, for me, I need to be, first of all, this is going to keep me accountable, having these conversations, number one. Number two, having somebody who's going to actually be like, hey, dude, just try it. Like, there's nothing you're going to lose in doing that. And then number three, just like allowing people to, like we are saying, Gabe, I mean, be a Shopify. I can't believe they Shopify in Kenya. So for you, what was, according to the conversation we were having last week, what do you think? Because even you thought your dad was the goated.
Yeah.
So for you, what do you think that was like the thing that you feel like you lacked from your dad, in that context, let's say?
Of execution?
Yeah, like maybe execution, or like your father one, in a sense.
Oh, the fatherhood. Wow, Dad, are you listening? Hey, Dad was harsh, man.
Yeah.
Dad was harsh. He still is harsh.
Yeah.
Still right now. And sometimes his harshness can come in words, and they can really cut through.
Yes.
Right? But that's because I believe how the streets have shown him.
Of course.
Right? So the streets have really shown him that.
Okay, so actually explain to people, what did your dad do? What did your dad do? So what is this that it showed him? It showed him. And then actually, I want you to start from the conversation we had about like your dad at work.
Yeah.
And then, so you can start from there.
So Dad is about 67 years old right now. He started off at Telcom as a junior technician. Worked there for about 24 years. Then he got retrenched, he got fired.
Of course, yep, that's what they do.
But 2 years before he got fired, he started importing cars. So at that point, we were living at a company estate or flat, whatever, right? In Parkland. So he was importing cars slowly. He was like one of the first guys to start importing cars. This was back in 95, thereabouts, 96. So our neighbors started complaining. Actually, the chairman started complaining that, yo, Mr. Muridi, you are importing too many cars in this place, right? And we're lacking parking lots.
Because he was using the apartment complex parking block. That makes sense. That's
He has
business
like-
savviness. Those guys are playing around. You're not going to pay for something else.
He has like 8 cars in the parking lot. So when he got fired, he already had his side business. So he just started with it. And man, I tell you what, man, from the time he got retrenched to, I think, 3 years later, we moved into a bigger house.
Outrageous.
That came from the business. And I learned a lot from that. He used to send me upstairs to his room, and I used to do inventory check with him every day.
No way.
And that time I was probably like 9-10 years old.
Outrageous.
And he really introduced me to bookkeeping.
Yeah,
right, in
that's
business.
good. Yeah, that's good.
And that time, man, like there was nobody importing cars like that, right? So he was just floating on growth.
Of course.
For about 10 years.
Yeah.
And till now, he's known as the Honda guy, right? Because he was the one who brought Hondas in Kenya. Right? And man, he just taught me a lot about business.
That's cool. And then, this is another story true you told me, that the difference in your neighborhood, there's a difference between how the African kids, aka the black kids, were being treated, and the originally Indian kids were being treated in terms of parents who had businesses. What was that experience like for you growing up?
Sure. So the new neighborhood which we moved in was predominantly Indian, right? It was a new estate, so we were about 2 African families and about 13 Indian families.
Yeah.
Right? And so in that estate, after school, me and our other African guys would go out and play soccer.
Of course you were.
So they would join us, but they would only join us for about 30 minutes. Then most of them would go back in the house.
Yes.
And study, or they would go for walks with their parents. However, during school holidays, you'd expect them to come over and play with us. So on Monday, we wouldn't literally see them playing with us. They would be working with their parents. And these are guys, 12, 13 years old. They're in Ngara, in their parents' shop, working, being instilled the things of business. And us, we were just playing around. And I think that was a big discrepancy of why Asian families grow with their businesses, and us, we just kind of wing it.
It's true. Because me, I came back to Kenya, right? Because I grew up in America. I was like outside Kenya. So then I come, you see Patel this, Patel that, which is not a problem, by the way. Like, that's not my problem is not with the Indian people. You guys do your thing. You're correct. That's how you should do it. The problem is African parents have this habit of doing like, hey, so we started this business. You need to suffer. You need to suffer. If you do not suffer, if Gabe does not suffer like I did me growing up, then Gabe did not learn anything. So then how are you supposed to build generational wealth? You can't do that. So to me, that's why when I came in Canada, I was like, how are these Indian people being able to be so successful generation after generation after generation? But it's because of what you just told me. It's like, it's very simple. You're 12, you're 13, and in America, that's how they do. My friend, I have a friend named Austin. His dad owns a garage door company. You would think garage door is nothing. Anyway, the kind of money those guys are making.
I know.
Garage door. It goes up, then it closes. But he knew he was graduating to go work for his dad's company. That's it. Because then what happens? He learns about the business, Precision Garage, by the way. And then after you learn about the business, when your dad is done with it, then you take over. What happened is, what was the name of the guy who just passed away that was a big businessman?
Mr. Ruby.
Yeah. So him, for example, I don't think his kids know anything about his business. We don't even know how he made his money. So now we are here. How is he going to build generational wealth? You can't do that because now he made money doing something, whatever it is, whether it was legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. The point is he was successful in it, right? So we need to be teaching our kids. I feel like how to move to the next level. None of this like, oh, I have all this money. Oh, you make. So what? We don't care that you're like, because then in the end, me and Gabe, if we don't have that knowledge of how to run a business, how to do the bookkeeping, like at least your dad was doing some bookkeeping, something you know what I mean? Some people, it's you go to school, the parent who is the business owner still wants you to go to school, get your MBA and all that. But he maybe didn't even mention the MBA section, but because he wants to tell his friends, my son has an MBA from Harvard.
It's an ego thing.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense because I think we would benefit more in Africa from generational wealth than just going to school. Because I think long term, what ends up happening is Africa will not grow. Like most people, like Facebook was invented by who? Some guy, some nerd in school, man. He quit school. Mark Zuckerberg didn't finish school. And so I think that's where a part of this conversation needs to go in this country and in the continent generally is instead of just having like African parents building something and then it's done. Is you build something, that's good. You teach your kid, then your kid will take that thing to the next level, the next level, and the next level, and then you can build a lot of wealth. I think that's very interesting. So now we have veered from the parents thing. Now, so we are taking that on to like a co-pandemic. Let's go back to business, right?
Yeah, true.
So now pandemic hits. You are suffering. So now what?
I'm not suffering. I'm learning.
You're learning. So you didn't see it like that though. So you didn't see it as like, oh, look at me. Oh, give me. I used to be the guy. Everybody used to like me. Oh, you're telling me people didn't call you. Let me hear your story of phone calls.
Yeah.
What was happening?
I mean, I used to get maybe 20, 30 calls a day. When I closed my business in August 2021, literally that went down to about 4 or 5 calls a day. I think today I've only gotten 3 calls. And I'm okay with that, right? Because the thing about business, you really got to understand, right? You're only as valuable as you exist.
Yeah.
as a human.
Yes.
Right? If you're out of people's mind and you're not in that line of business anymore, you're not really useful to people.
Of course.
And that's okay. That's just how commerce is built. That's how capital is
Yeah.
used. So there's no feelings to it. I'm much more peaceful right now.
Also, because of those phone calls, you would not relax.
Yeah, man. There's nobody asking me for money. Nobody asking me for.
Man, I thought they were giving you money.
For connections.
Oh, so it wasn't the calls of, because me, I was thinking maybe the calls are like, hey Gabe, we love what you're doing. Come and speak our school. I thought that was all of them. But you're telling me it's the usual African thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey Gabe, hey, the business is like this. I need to connect with Uhuru Kenyatta. Do you know somebody? So it was like, so what percentage of your calls were asking for things, and what percentage was you like them adding value to you? Let's say that
maybe 10% adding value, 90% asking for things.
Just asking.
Yeah.
People need to learn not to be asking. Add value to people. I don't get why people don't do that.
I learned how to say no though, right? So I think that business has really helped me build the muscle to say no to things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, man. I think that me, in my mind, because I've never been on phone calls, like, well, I was the corporate guy, guys. I was I work in BlackRock or in the Credit Suisse, or those big banks, and being investment
Blackstone.
banking. Yeah, like those guys, chill, be there for 15, well, actually, I was planning to be 5 years and then come back to Africa. And then God decided, surprise, it ain't happening. So I basically came back to Kenya, and I had to figure stuff out. And now I'm technically becoming entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I'm doing that stuff, and that's why I thought that it's good to have these conversations at some point.
Yeah.
Talk to Gabe, see what, and then during the pandemic, what did you, apart from, because I think you had said obviously there's the aspect of non-essential.
Yeah.
Would you go back to a non-essential business, or are you like, nah, only essential businesses now, only things people will want forever?
Look, clothing is still an essential business, right? Because it's a basic human need.
Yes.
And there's still people making money out of clothing, right? But the line of clothing that I took wasn't sustainable, which is luxurious men's clothing.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd get back into it, given the fact that I also now, I've had some time to reflect. And the next gig that I want to have in my hands would be something that really creates impact on people's lives.
Of course.
And also great impact on the environment, right? So I'm very, very passionate about that stuff right now. And so there's a few opportunities coming in right now. I really can't talk about it right now.
Of course, no. So keep them in hiding, so that in
4 years
like
now.
whenever we're having this talk, we'll have this talk again. We can chat about what the change has been, what the difference is, and stuff. Oh, now the fun, interesting things.
Sure.
So for you say you like fitness, right?
Yeah.
Did fitness start like in Kenya? Because me, I started fitness when I went out. So in Kenya, it was like when growing up, it was a joke. Like it was like, oh, let's go play football.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, let me go to the gym.
Yeah.
Let me get my cardiovascular levels to this point. Let me build some muscle so I'm strong on the pitch and whatever. I was always the bigger dude, even when I was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't even care about that much about lifting. I didn't think it was that interesting. So for you, how did you get into fitness? Just like for starters,
Australia, man. You really taught me that stuff, man, right? There's gyms everywhere.
Of course.
Like there was literally the street I used to live in. There was like 4 gyms.
And it's cheap too. How much were you paying per month?
$25 a month.
Dude, it's so nice. In Kenya, can you get a gym that price?
No, and the machines are just amazing.
True.
Right?
It's true.
And also Sydney being a beach city, everybody wants to look good.
Of course.
And so I kind of ignored the gym the first 1 year.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen, bro.
I love second year, man. My boys are all going to gym.
Yep.
I just got into it.
What are you doing, Gabe?
Yeah. So I got into it. I got pretty big.
Yeah.
I came back to Kenya.
Big, or like in the like, was it like muscle mass? Was it like, were you trying to build to be like
I was
swole?
bulking.
Okay,
I was bulking.
bulking. So,
I was a typical gym bulker guy.
yeah, of course.
And then I came.
But you
back
have the body. I feel like you have the genes for that, though, right? Like
thanks.
you're like, I'm like, it's like me, like working out. Like I can't be skinny. Yeah. Like, if I tried that, like, well, first of all, I look weird. There's a random. If you guys like Google, go Google Terrence Ouma. There's a weird picture of me online, bro. I'm so skinny. I don't even know who that is. Google it. But I mean, it's a weird picture. I'm wearing a suit. I don't even recognize that guy. I'm like, dude, who was that? It was like somebody could take me and throw me around like this.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's cool. So that's when which I expected, to be fair, because I feel like in Africa, that's another thing we need to pick out, is that fitness.
We need to fix
space.
it, man.
Because like, to be honest, reminds kunaona. Says it danganya. I'm not judging you. I'm judging you and myself.
You see a CrossFitter though.
Yeah, what you have to do. CrossFit, okay, for me, CrossFit was the thing. I'm not gonna lie. CrossFit is my favorite thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
The problem is I didn't take care of my body.
Yeah.
When I was in the US, because I played varsity in high school, so I played football, I did track. By the way, I'm still the 4th or 5th fastest passer in my high school.
Was or still is.
I'm still is, by the way, I'm being serious. If you go look at my school, the record, it says someone there, it says Terrence Ouma. Still proud of that. That's the only record I hold. There's nothing else I've done in my life about
Good
that.
man, good man.
I played and then I played football a lot, so American football and like regular soccer. And then I played lacrosse. Nobody knows what lacrosse is. Just type in lacrosse online. You can watch. It's probably one of the funnest sports in the world, I feel like. And then I used to eat whatever I wanted. So I ate whatever useless junk was there. And then I came back home and gained all the weight, because obviously if you ain't working out, you're not doing like practice, like you gain everything in 5 seconds.
And here's the thing, like diet is 80%.
Yeah, it's true. 100% agree.
Gym is 20%.
Right.
Even I'm willing to go as high and say gym is 10%.
It might be true.
The kitchen and the diet is 90%. And that's where all the difference is. I'm struggling with that right now. I'm struggling with my diet. I live by myself. I eat a lot of bad stuff right now. So
it's easy to make the
I'm working on it.
Choice. It's true.
I'm working on it. I'm being very, very intentional. My girlfriend is absolutely holding me accountable on that one.
Yeah.
And it's good. Really
the exam has been fallen.
Yeah.
So that's cool, Gabe. Well, it was good talking to you.
Thank you.
I think that long term, I'm excited for the next time we have this conversation.
True.
Because I know, Gabe, what executing. I don't even think that's a Swahili word. Hilarious. You execute, right? So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. And me, I'm trying to keep you close so that I'll be holding on to something. Maybe at some point utanishikilia pia. So because I feel like we need to, some of these genes we have of like not doing the correct things or not executing or just having ideas, like I was like when we were at the park last week for church, like I told you an idea, you're like, yeah, dude, just try it. Like, what's the worst thing's gonna happen? Like, well, obviously you lose money, but but like it's still good to test those things out. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about us talking about this soon. I don't know when that will be, but they will know, because it will be, we'll put like the episodes, I don't know, I'm hoping 2-3 years from now we can have a conversation again about business or whatever else our conversation will lead. So
I look forward to it, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
It was a pleasure, Gabe. You're the first on here. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
See you guys soon.
You had 3 truths to ask me.
Look at who you happening to know my birthday. So listen to this story. So I have been trying to think of how we're gonna end this segment. How are we gonna end this show with something interesting? And Gabe was supposed to I came up with the idea of doing 3 truths that you believe are, but it can mean 3 3 truths that you believe are very important, impactful, interesting, that would be, whether it's business, whether it's life, that you think that are key to making sure that, first of all, we survive this life we're living in, and then maybe be successful in business and anything we do. So, back to you.
I think for one, in terms of business, start with the problem first and work backwards to the solution. In whatever industry you're in. And make sure that you have a map that gives you that truth every time. And ask yourself and reiterate, whatever I'm doing, am I really solving that problem? And is that problem scalable? And can it make money?
Scalability is important. Yeah, true.
It's fantastic. It's probably the biggest lesson I've learned in all my years of academic business and practical business. So that's truth number one. Problem first, then solution. Number 2 and 3 would be life. I think to really get along with people, which is important, right? And the book of Proverbs, if I can quote that, there's a place it says, hold kindness and loyalty to your neck, right?
Yeah.
So that you may earn favor with God and men.
It's true.
It's probably one of the best ways to live your life.
Yeah.
Right? Being kind and being loyal.
Yeah.
And I think I'm really trying to execute that in my life right now. As I navigate the streets of Nairobi and hopefully the streets of the world one day.
That's rough. The streets of Nairobi are rough places, man. I think if you could do business in Kenya, you could probably do business anywhere.
Yeah. And third truth, take care of your body, man. Take care of your body. I think COVID has really shown people
Facts. That's a fact.
that if you don't take care of your body and your immune systems, and
you're screwed.
medical bills can just, really, you're just one medical bill away from being poor in Nairobi. Like literally poor.
Yeah, it's true.
So really take care of your body, drink your water, have nutrition, have a exercise regime. And I think those would be my 3 truths.
Cool. Now we can end for real because I am obviously a useless host, as you can see. I am useless, Gabe, so I think next episode is one of the host. So
Thank you, Tez. It's been amazing, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
And congratulations on this, man.
The first one, man.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
What a day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
See you guys soon. It was your boy Teza with my boy Gabe.
Gabriel.
See you guys soon.
Thank you. Peace.